How society taught women to hate men. The cultural engineering of division. In recent decades, a subtle yet powerful shift has taken place, one that has quietly reshaped how men and women perceive one another. Once partners in survival, creation, and community, they are now often cast as opponents in a cultural battlefield. This isn't an accident. It's the result of cultural engineering, a series of social, political, and psychological influences that have conditioned women to distrust, resent, or even despise men, while simultaneously teaching men to fear, silence, or withdraw from women. The modern world celebrates this division as progress. But when examined through a Stoic and psychological lens, it reveals a dangerous truth. A society that pits men and women against each other destroys the foundation of harmony itself. The bond between masculine and feminine energy. 1. The manufactured narrative of oppression. For centuries, the relationship between men and women was viewed as complementary. Men protected and provided, women nurtured and guided. But modern ideologies reframed this balance into a power struggle. Through selective storytelling, mass media began to paint men not as partners, but as oppressors. Every historical hardship faced by women was attributed to male dominance, erasing the complexity of cultural, economic, and evolutionary realities. The result? Generations of women raised to view men not as individuals, but as symbols of patriarchy, inherently guilty, dangerous, and emotionally repressed. Psychological effect. This conditioning creates projection. Many women are taught to see their inner pain, from absent fathers, failed relationships, or societal disappointments, as the fault of men. This projection fosters emotional disconnection, resentment, and mistrust toward the masculine. 2. The rise of victimhood culture. A core Stoic teaching reminds us, it's not what happens to you, but how you respond that matters. Yet modern culture has elevated victimhood into a virtue. Many are encouraged to define themselves by their wounds, not their wisdom. This shift rewards outrage over understanding and blame over balance. In the gender context, it has trained women to view personal challenges through a gendered lens. Men did this to me, rather than, this experience helped me grow. Result: emotional stagnation. When resentment becomes identity, healing becomes impossible. True empowerment, the kind rooted in accountability and self-mastery, is replaced by chronic grievance. 3. Media reinforcement. The demonization of masculinity. Turn on any modern film, commercial, or talk show, and you'll often find the same subtle message. Men are emotionally unavailable, selfish, immature, or abusive. Meanwhile, women are portrayed as flawless, oppressed, or endlessly patient victims. This narrative doesn't just entertain, it conditions. It shapes how young women interpret men before they've even formed real relationships. It teaches them that distrust is wisdom, that submission is weakness, and that independence means rejecting anything traditionally masculine. But here's the paradox. The same women taught to reject men still crave emotional connection, stability, and masculine leadership. The mind says, I don't need men. The heart whispers, I miss them. 4. The educational and ideological reprogramming. Mutual distrust. Girls told oppressed. Boys told privileged. Feminine empowerment. From schools to social media, modern education systems subtly shape gender perceptions. Feminine empowerment is often presented as the correction of masculine influence. Boys are told they're privileged, while girls are told they are oppressed. The result? Men grow up ashamed of their nature, suppressing ambition, strength, and leadership, while women grow up suspicious of those very traits. 5. Social media and the psychology of division. Algorithms amplify outrage because outrage sells. Platforms thrive on emotional extremes, especially gender-based conflict. Viral hostility. The hashtag men are trash and hashtag kill all men hashtags, viral breakup stories, and constant, toxic masculinity. Debates reinforce the illusion that love between men and women is unsafe or outdated. Shaming dissent. What's worse, women who express balanced or pro-masculine views are often shamed by their peers. The collective narrative rewards hostility, not harmony. Emotional effect. constant exposure to gender antagonism wires the brain to expect conflict, not connection. It replaces intimacy with ideology, and affection with suspicion. 6. The consequences: emotional polarization and loneliness. When women internalize these narratives, they subconsciously resist emotional vulnerability with men. Every gesture of care feels like control. Every act of leadership feels like domination. Every disagreement feels like danger. Meanwhile, men, tired of being blamed, retreat into emotional minimalism or solitude. The result is a generation of disconnected individuals who crave love but fear each other. 1. Fear of men, cultivated by culture, often a shadow projection, not a lived truth. 2. Emotional retreat. Men withdraw into solitude or emotional minimalism to avoid blame. 3. Disconnected. A generation craving love but fearing each other. As Stoic philosophy reminds us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. 7. The path back. Stoic harmony between masculine and feminine. The solution is not to swing the pendulum back to patriarchy, nor to demonize feminism. The answer lies in restoring balance. For women, this means healing the collective wound that equates strength with masculinity and empathy with weakness. For men, it means embodying calm leadership, strength guided by wisdom, not dominance. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If women are constantly taught to think of men as threats, their souls will reflect fear, not love. But when they learn to see men as partners in evolution, not opponents, they rediscover the beauty of complementarity. 8. Reclaiming connection beyond ideology. True empowerment is not rebellion against the opposite sex, but reconciliation with it. A wise society does not elevate one gender by diminishing the other. It unites them in mutual respect. To heal the modern divide, we must unlearn the cultural engineering that taught us to mistrust love. We must remember that emotional sovereignty is not independence from others, but mastery within ourselves. Conclusion: love is not the enemy. The modern world has commodified independence but neglected interdependence, the sacred dance between masculine and feminine energy that gives life its rhythm. Society taught women to hate men under the banner of empowerment, but true empowerment comes from understanding, not division. It comes from rising above cultural programming and seeing the human being beyond the gender. In the end, the Stoic path calls us back to equilibrium, where men and women meet not as rivals, but as reflections of one another's strength, compassion, and truth.